Hello.
Hi,
Yeah, hi Anil. How are
good
you?
afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So very excited for the session. After a long time, we
Okay.
have
Yeah,
scheduled
yeah, yeah.
this. Yeah. So starting about your journey, we have heard a lot about you. Even before the interview, I was just going across your outlets and everything. So
Mhm.
introducing you and your co-founder also Nishant Tripathi. So
Right.
how did you started and where are you from? Let's start with that.
Sure. So I come from Kerala, but I was born and brought up in Dubai. So I
Okay.
did most of my schooling there. I met my partner Nishant in college, and that's where we made a bond, and we've had multiple conversations over the years in college as well about wanting to start something together. And yeah, that's where the
Yeah.
initial spark at least arose, I would say. Yes.
Okay. So currently you have 9 outlets like all over India, and currently you are based out at Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai, I believe. So
Correct.
like,
So
how
yeah.
did this concept came into your mind? Before this, I want to know about Shake It Off. Like, what is that platform and how do you define it?
Also, the core idea of Shake It Off came about in a very casual conversation in college, where I would rant about the quality of milkshakes that were available in college, and uh, that's probably where the seed of the idea came in. And then when my partner came to visit me a few years later in Dubai, uh, I did introduce him to some really really good milkshakes, and he was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, this is a really good product." And then once we decided that we were probably going to get into the food business together, we did
Hmm.
quite a bit of research, and surprisingly, we found that even after about 7 or 8 years of graduating from college, or after having this conversation, there was still nobody in the market delivering the product that we anticipated or expected. We honestly thought that somebody would have already done it, but surprisingly, nobody did. So we saw that there was an opportunity. This
Hmm.
is obviously it's a purely personal experiment. It was like we can probably start off with a small store and see how it goes, and that's how Shake It Off built itself. We did work on the ambience of the store, made it really colorful and friendly, and it's just a place that people would want to come and unwind, and if you have a tough day at work or something like that, and have something really refreshing and packed with flavor at the end of the day. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, that's how that idea came to be. And then slowly over the next 7 or 8 months, it started picking up. We started getting a lot more customers in, and we had lines outside the store. That's when we realized that okay, uh, I think we're onto something here, and that's
Nice.
when we decided to expand, and that's how the
Yeah.
idea came about. And then after opening about 2 stores, we saw that there was a demand for Shake It Off, and we obviously couldn't scale it ourselves because we don't have enough capital to keep putting in. That's when we found the franchise method of expansion. And
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, there's some construction work going on outside,
It's
but
okay.
yeah,
No, not a
yeah,
problem. I can
you're
hear you
able to hear us.
properly.
Okay, all right. So yeah, and that's how we started franchising. We started giving out franchising rights to partners, and that's how we were able to scale as well. And then slowly, word got around, and then people took a chance on us in Delhi, Chennai, and now we'll soon be launching in Hyderabad as well.
Okay, amazing. First of all, congratulations for that kind of success like you guys are achieving. So, like, were you also afraid of the competition in the market? Because there are companies in the shakes. If you went to mall and something, there are so many right now companies there. So how you are different in the market? Like, maybe in
So
2016 when you were started, like that would not at that point, right? But
sure.
every
Like I'm
year the
gonna ask you a
competition
question.
is.
Like when you say that when you go to malls, you find there are a lot of stores that sell milkshakes. Could you tell me a couple of brands that come to your mind?
Brand, I would say, I don't exactly remember.
Like, would you call Kevin Toes or something like that? This
Yeah,
thing.
Cavenders will, yeah,
Fair.
for
So
the shakes.
essentially, that's the thing. We're at the end of the day, although Kevin Toes is affiliated to milkshakes, ours is not really anything even remotely similar to Kevin Toes product. With thick
Hmm.
shakes, we're ice cream based shakes, and at the root of the problem is that Kevinter's is it's a dairy, both of dairy products, but Kevinter's is a very different line of shakes, and Shake It Offs are very different line of shakes essentially.
Hmm.
So that's how we differentiate from them, for example. And our competition is there. There are bigger players than us, but it's not a humongous pool, I would say. So
Hmm.
far, I think there's Thick Shake Factory who are doing really, really well. There's Tempties and makers of milkshakes. These guys and us were the first movers in the thick shake segment, essentially.
But somewhere like they're not providing the games you provide. Like you have,
Yeah,
I
sure.
assume
They're
some.
more retail oriented, I'd say, where it's more of a kiosk type where you come, you place an order, pick it up, and then you go. It's not,
Hmm.
and the cuisines that they offer as well. It's just mainly shakes and maybe waffles. That's to a maximum essentially. They don't really offer anything else. So that's another differentiator for us was we have a store, we have people to sit, and this actually came from feedback from the customers. Like
Hmm.
people would come, they would have a milkshake, and they would be like, they would have a thick shake, sorry, and they would be like, "Do you have something to eat?" And initially we didn't, and they would say that it'd be really nice to have something to munch on because you have a place here, you have games to play,
Hmm.
people to come and just sit around with, but just having beverage kind of seemed like it leaves it half empty or something. And that's how we slowly started introducing foods that would pair well with shakes. Like you want something cheese and shakes. It's fantastic. So like you'd have burgers, you'd have fries, you'd have sandwiches, stuff like that. Essentially, that's how the menu was built. We built it around our customers essentially.
Okay, like the name says shake it off. So you want to be in the domain of only shakes and like all the like the snacks you're providing currently, or you want to add like in future? Is there something in your mind like coffee or something like that?
So we tried coffee. We don't think we're the right space for coffee.
Okay.
We tried coffee. It doesn't really go with others thing. So our forte is shakes, but we have food that pairs well with shakes, and we are open to introducing new types of food that will pair well with shakes. But obviously the larger focus would be around shakes essentially, and
Okay.
then the rest. That's what works for us. I think that's the lesson that we've learned over the last few years. Like we've had a lot of fluff that we added onto the menu, and now we've removed that fluff as well.
Okay. Like, what about the expectation? Like, what are you thinking other than this? You want to make some change like in few years. So, what is a roadmap you guys are thinking currently?
Oh, so right now the roadmap, because of the pandemic, is slightly different from what it was before.
True.
So we are expanding still. Like we've opened a location recently on the cloud kitchen model. So
Okay.
the analysis right now is that the market's going to take a while to recover. So in
Hmm.
that period of time, we see there is a demand still at the end of the day, and we need to satisfy the demand. So
Yeah.
we are looking to expand in terms of cloud kitchens right now because delivery is more of this thing, and it's I think this is what we call smart scaling because
Hmm.
retail is not yet ready. We can't go and pick up a 500 square foot store, design it beautifully, and expect people to walk in right now. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen because there's so much uncertainty with the pandemic. Even after the vaccine, people are going to be a little cautious about stepping out as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing. So, and then you have your massive overheads. That's not something uh, that would work right now. Like even with the pandemic, uh, store owners, I mean, the landlords and property owners, they haven't reduced their rents, which I think would be, which from their point of view would be fair because I'm sure they have loans and everything else to pay for. So, but somehow there needs to be balancing act. So that's why I think a lot of people are vacating stores as well because they're not able to make
Yeah.
even the rents possible. Plus, you have really really high rentals in some locations.
So,
So with
how
smart
did
scaling,
your
yeah.
yeah? So, how did your team uh, like gone through in the pandemic? If you tell me, like, what are the things you worked on, and like the shops were not open. So, what about the cloud kitchen? Like, how does it work?
Precisely. So
Yeah.
yeah, so essentially is that lockdown one, we were closed in almost all the locations because we were asked to close, but one
Hmm.
location was open and we kept delivering essentially. There was a demand and we did pretty decently in that, and that's where we realized that okay, people are still going to order. It's not like
Hmm.
so that's when the smart scaling idea came, and we're like we can so basically stores where we have larger stores, we'll have to downscale and move to a cloud kitchen just to demand satisfy that market because people are going to walk into the stores and you're not going to be able to pay such huge rents at the end of the day. So we had
Yeah.
to downsize, move it to smaller kitchens essentially. But at the end of the day, as well as simplify our menu for the online sector, because you don't want an expansive menu when you're online. Do all that, work on the menu hygiene, and that's how we went about it essentially.
Okay. So, like, what about you? Like, when you started, like, were your parents also supportive about the, like, you are going to be like, you are having a startup in future? So what were there? Because if you talk about your qualification, you have done what you have done.
I've done B.
Okay.
My
So
parents, they were I don't know if they were supportive. I don't really remember anymore. I know Nishan didn't tell his parents for a long time that he started this.
okay.
Yeah, that much I know. But my parents, no, I basically told my parents that, listen, I'm going to go to India for a few months or maybe a year and see. And I think maybe some part of them expected me to just come back after 3, 4 months, but I started this and I think they were okay with it. They didn't really object to it. So
Okay.
that was okay. Yeah.
But the most of the parents in this
Also, no,
society
my dad
currently.
runs his own business, so I think I come from a
Oh,
family that
that's
has,
why. That's why the
yeah,
background was
that, yeah. So I
pretty
think
much.
there, I think they were pretty okay with it essentially. And
Okay.
yeah,
What about you? Like, what are your opinions about entrepreneurship? Like, you have been also in the journey for last 4 years. So, what are your views on this? And why do we need entrepreneurship these days?
uh, why do you need entrepreneurship? You need entrepreneurship because you always need you need to move forward. If you're not going to move forward just doing the same thing all over again, like you will need to experiment, and that's where the crazy bit part comes from, the founders essentially, because they take
Hmm.
risks others are not willing to take, because they see, why not give it a try. And so I don't really look at any entrepreneurs that failed as failed entrepreneurs. They just took a risk on something that they thought was great and it didn't work. That's okay. That's fine. Like,
Hmm.
but they still took the risk and did something really cool at
Yeah.
the end of the day. Entrepreneurship is needed because I don't think without it you'd be able to advance uh, the world essentially. Like, you have the big massive players. You have Tatas, you have Ambani's and Reliance and everything. But regardless of them existing
Hmm.
and them having a huge market share, they weren't able to come up with a Zoom, or they weren't able to come up with a Uber. So you
Hmm.
do need entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, once you're like a massive organization, it's impossible to create. You just try and replicate essentially. So I think creativity comes from the founders, and they can see that a problem essentially. If you have a problem,
Hmm.
for example, and you have a solution to it, but the entrepreneurship bit comes when they say that, what, we have a better way to do this.
Hmm.
It's just advancing technology, I'd say. I mean, like, bringing ease,
Yeah.
automation, etc. Just making your life easier. I think that's where they come from, and they take the risk to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, talking about your team, what is the team size currently you are having?
Oh, it's still just me and Nishant, and then we have advisors and mentors as well.
Okay.
But the core team is,
Fine.
yeah.
How did you and your co-founder met? Like, you were college
Oh, we were
mates,
college
or?
roommates. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this
So
was your first idea, like you worked on, or?
this was not our first idea. Our first idea was a food delivery app. So
Okay.
we wanted to bring the Dabbawala system,
Hmm.
the Bombay Dabbawala system, and use that concept to deliver healthy food,
Hmm.
etc. But I don't think we really understood what a startup meant and what a business meant at the time.
Hmm.
So when we crunched the numbers, we saw that it's impossible to make money.
Hmm.
Essentially, the numbers don't add up. Basically, like, it's essentially a very small version of Swiggy's model.
Hmm.
Swiggy's model still doesn't allow them to make money at the end of the day, essentially.
Yeah.
But so that's when the definition comes of what a startup. A startup is a business that's designed to scale massively. So that's what
Hmm.
Swiggy did. Like, they scaled massively. So they're not really looking at profits at a profitability level. They're looking at just a number level essentially, or like a capture of market size. So that didn't make sense to me at the end of the day, because I was always taught that the purpose of a business is to make profit. So yeah, we could call it naivety and all these things. Maybe we could have done the food delivery and scaled it in a different way. Sure, like because a lot of people have done it. Kioffit's done it. Health Funny has done it. So, but yeah, anyway, at the end of the day, we saw that this wasn't something we wanted to do, and we were like, yeah, let's try this. And then kept looking at it, and we found, yeah, again we found that nobody was selling good milkshakes. So then
Okay.
we laid
So
down.
you have done your qualification from outside India.
No, no, no. School, yeah, but no, college
Cool.
was in India. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Fine.
and then
So
yeah, and then I
yeah.
worked in Dubai for 3 years with my dad. So that's how it is.
Okay. So you were after college you were in job
No, I was working with my dad, so
as a
immediately I
work.
was rushed into
Okay.
the
Got it.
family business. So I think that's also where I learned a lot as well. Like I did learn quite a bit from there on
Okay.
how
So
those.
would you like to share some struggles of yours, like you faced, like while scaling, people, because this is the thing, every entrepreneur face at, in the part of the marketing, and you have to do everything as,
The struggles are
business
endless.
IC.
I would rather like to talk about the triumphs, but yeah, sure, we can talk about struggles as well.
Yeah.
There's so much because every day is a struggle at the end of the day. Like you'd find
Hmm.
something or the other that goes wrong, and then you have to just keep working on it. Early struggles would be getting customers into the outlet.
Hmm.
Essentially, you would, I think the first 2 months was basically me and Nishant. So it was just me and Nishant. We hired two staffs in the beginning, and they left in a day.
Okay.
They literally left the next day. We opened and the next day they left because I think I was giving them a earful for some mistake they did. They didn't
Hmm.
like it and they left. Like, okay, wow. So now what do? We don't have no staff, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not a chef. Nishant's not a chef.
Hmm.
So we're like, what do we do? And then we were really confused. And then we were like, you know what? Let's just do it and let's just open the door. So that was fun. It was really tiring because you wake up at 5 and you would day would end at 12:30 or 1 or something.
Hmm.
So that was a bit tough. But no, but the struggle, but we actually enjoyed that. But the struggling bit was the waiting game essentially because
Hmm.
you'd open at 11 and shut at 11 in the night.
Yeah.
And you'd have prepared from 5 a.m. You picked up all the stuff that you need, and then from
Hmm.
9 a.m. you're at the store, you're prepping the store, getting everything ready, and all of these things, and then 11 a.m. you're expecting people to just walk in, and then nobody walks in, and it takes a while. And then some days we'd have one shake we sold,
Hmm.
then we'd go home and we'd be like, so one day I would work and the other day Nishant would work,
Hmm.
so we'd come home at night and be like, how many today? Three. The next day is four. Then when we hit 10, it was an achievement.
Hmm.
So that part was very uh, frustrating, but then I think it became enjoyable more because it was really sweet. Because essentially we would do that and we would be like, it slowly kept increasing. It was 45, 50, 60, 65, 70. Then one day we came home and I asked him how much. He's like, I lost count, man, because it was so much. It's like we didn't have time to think. We were just like continuously just moving around, and we're like, "How many did we sell today?" Like, I have no idea. That's it. So we didn't have time. But yeah, that was nice. That was the fun part. But
Okay.
that was I don't know if you can call that a struggle. It was very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, like just a word struggle, but somewhere it's like how did you spend in your marketing? Like, most of the people have these kinds of questions. Like,
I think that would be a biggest struggle, marketing.
yeah,
Uh, Nishant would probably come and admit it right now, saying that uh, he should have just taken care of marketing because he's doing the marketing right now and he's doing a phenomenal job. And he's just like, I don't believe why didn't we do this earlier? Because we kept
hmm,
hiring marketing agencies and they would really work well for the first couple of months. Then they'd have more clients and
hmm,
then they'll have to cater to all the clients. So then the exclusivity goes. Then they just keep a single template for multiple brands. So then
yeah,
it just loses the charm. So we've struggled a lot with marketing and creative agencies and spent quite a bit of money on it. And now we're like, okay, we can do this ourselves. So Nishant's
yeah.
doing a phenomenal job at it.
Okay,
And
and
that's basically, I'm sorry, but what was your question exactly again? I'm so
so
sorry.
like how did you spend on marketing? Like what amount of time you would say, and what amount of offline marketing, online, where you were
So
focused? Because
offline marketing
most
was
of the
more
people.
about reaching out to the nearby colleges and apartments. So
Hmm.
we would do that regularly and then see the conversion rate. And I don't know if that was my house. Can you just give me a second?
Okay, sure, sure, sure.
Oh yeah, I thought I heard the bell ring. Wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did spend quite a bit of time doing offline marketing. We found that online marketing was more redundant. It would be more of a game of likes and dislikes and comments rather than actual conversions. We're still not convinced by online marketing. You need to do it because you need to have a social media presence, but offline marketing is what's worked best for us. Like whether the customer would come into the store, we'd give them like a buy four get one free card, something like that, or an instant gratification of a discount, stuff like that, and then they'd be more entitled and enticed to come back essentially.
Okay.
That's
So let's discuss about the like. Is your startup like it's currently bootstrapped or like
it's currently bootstrapped, completely
okay.
bootstrapped.
Okay, so like in this, like your parents supported from the money part, like in the very beginning.
No. We saved up.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nishant, I had saved enough money for my share. Nishant had also saved. Then Nishant took a loan and didn't tell anyone. That's how we started, and we were completely.
But why don't you added people in your team? Like where I think like you need more people to manage this. How do you guys only manage? Like I'm a little bit surprised.
I don't know. We don't need another. I mean, we do need somebody in the team. I agree now. Now we're looking at like getting team members and stuff like that. But so far we didn't need it. Even with Delhi and Chennai, because it was one store and we had good partners there, we never needed it. Like because we're always available, and I don't know it.
So the store is managed by like you
I
make
think
partners.
what's stopping us from hiring is that if we hire someone, then we'll have less work to do. So I think we like doing what we're doing essentially, and the expansion bit also, and we want to understand what's happening. I understand that after a certain point of time, it's difficult and you need to delegate work. I get that point. That's what we're trying to do as well now. I mean, what we did was we have basically moved away some of the responsibilities from our shoulder. For example, store responsibilities. We train the staffs to become more responsible, and we get rid of that workload. For example, so we would just give them more responsibilities and train them. So then that bit of work is not available to us anymore, and we can concentrate on other parts. So we're still okay with that, yeah, so far.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's amazing talking to you and knowing about you, and I believe it's really more like in 5 years you are about to grow 2x, and from our Karostartup team we wish you all the very very best for
Thank
your
you so much.
company, and I hope we
So our
will
target
like
is 500 plus stores for 2025. Let's hope we get there.
Yeah, that will definitely going to happen, because this is something everyone's need. Every young people, if you can say college or something, if you can target the colleges, they are crazy about shakes and snacks, everything.
Sure,
So
agreed.
yeah, so thanks a lot, Anil, for your time, and we will
By
be
the way, I have to
publishing.
plug this in. We have 2 new models coming out, which is an e-cart, which is really exciting, and we're also looking for cloud kitchen partners as well. If anybody's watching this and wants to get in touch with us, please, we'd be happy to. It's very low cost, and we think it could be a very nice addition to our company, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think thank you for your time, and we wish you all the very best. And just be safe and keep rocking. Thank you.
Stay safe. Thank you. Pleasure.